Do you remember last day's games? TSM been delivering. TSM SmackDown World Elite after a very competitive match. TSM took World Elite under their own control. Misfits Gaming completely massacred Flash Wolves. Put them back on the map after a very rough performance against the World Elite. With that in mind, Misfits Gaming against Team Solo Mid doesn't mean that there's some automatic TSM win. TSM obviously is the favored one here. TSM have shown more on the Rift, so to speak. And the main thing here is that I feel like this group, when it comes to the games, you know, they can just go either way. Oops, excuse me. And also sometimes you just randomly burp. You know, Misfits are not that bad. You know, they got smashed in the first game, but Misfits definitely showed some creativity in the pick and ban, which I love to see, you know, and they dropped the trundle. They dropped a lot of neat things, so to speak. So let's just see what Misfits bring to the table this time around. Lulu ban into Janna first pick. Now that's the shit I like. The opposite of Chief Keef, you know. This is what I like. Kog'Maw and Sejuani as a response. Jarvan is out, so this is all pretty standard, you know. Kog'Maw and Sejuani being the picks. I like seeing Kog'Maw, especially when you're red side, because you know that the enemy team have to blind pick, and when they're blind picking, you know, they're most likely gonna pick a Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath's been the trend at least. Misfits have gone to decided to do something else, which is completely fine too, but we'll get to that later. You know, Kog'Maw, Sejuani being the highest tier jungler. A response from Misfits is Gragas and Xayah. Now the main thing here is that Misfits got the OP combo here, Janna and Xayah, and Misfits bot lane is something that has faltered a bit in this tournament, and hopefully now in this bot lane matchup when they have Janna and Xayah, hopefully they can show to the world that they can in fact push when they're supposed to. The beauty of TSM's bot lane though is that Kog'Maw can trade very easily with Nami. With the E of Nami, it's very easy for Kog'Maw to stick on to targets and commit to these longer trades, which he loves to do. You know, he loves to do these long ass trades, and that is the way in for him in this lane matchup. You know, he gets to do the trading. Nami does very good in lane against Janna, so Misfits just have to try to push and maintain the push from level 1 already, and then punish the fact that Kog'Maw is not the strongest level 1 champion in the game, and TSM just have to trade and outlast Misfits here. So let's see how it pans out. Cassiopeia and Orianna ban, 2 bans targeted at Power of Evil into a Syndra pickup, which means that a lot of Power of Evil's champions have been taken over across the, just taken away. Lucian ban, interesting, Lucian ban, and Gnar ban, meaning that you know, they don't want to run into the Hunter situation where Hunter is last picking top here and putting himself in a very juicy position where he can just counter whatever Misfits pick here. It becomes a Shen. Shen has a lot of synergy here. The main thing here with Cho'Gath, I feel like he doesn't have a lot of synergy with the team. Xayah and Janna want to disengage. Gragas is not the most reliable engage, I feel. And Shen and LeBlanc together, they can definitely make use of the Shen ultimate very easily. From level 6 and onwards, they can just commit into mid lane, commit into situations, get onto Syndra, and just forces her to plays very good ease in order for her to kind of get away from those ganks, and at the same time as well, like LeBlanc and Shen is very lethal in later stages of the game. Like they can set up dives if LeBlanc transitions into the game in a good way. They can pressure through bottom, forcing TSM to pressure very fast and putting them on a clock, because Shen and LeBlanc can dive a lot of targets in the bot lane. They can dive, for example, I don't know an example. Let's see what champion TSM pick. I'll let them give me the example. Alright, Cho'Gath. So Cho'Gath is not the easiest target to dive. Renekton's not the easiest target to dive either, but it's definitely possible, right? It's definitely possible that the Renekton gets Dove when they have a lot of time to work with. And I'm talking like 25 minutes, you know. Let's say the Baron is on the menu, you know, and LeBlanc and Shen are playing through bottom. Like LeBlanc has the Shen ultimate she can work with. LeBlanc can also go through top side and Shen can go bottom, and LeBlanc can TP into bottom to create this type of situation. So TSM, what they want to do is to play through mid, face check with Sejuani and force themselves in 5v5 situations. Because I do in fact believe that their champions are slightly better in a 5v5 situation. Misfits, of course, that can create picks for themselves. I'm not too sure if I'm sold on this Renekton pick. Renekton definitely has a good lane matchup into Shen. So if Haunter manages to snowball this from early on with his Renekton, then maybe the situation where he gets Doven, maybe this threat of him being Doven, we just don't reach that point because he has such a big advantage against Shen. So there are reasons why this pick is good. I think in team fights it might be very hard for Renekton to be effective. I think he might get peeled away from Janna. But to be fair, Svenskeren have, like TSM have a lot of tools already to maintain, like maintain the fight with their long range, right? So looking at it once again, TSM have a lot of long range to work with. In a group situation, I think they are better, and Misfits are going to have to play the split push game and farm better and farm more efficiently, put TSM in situations where they need to force Nashor, and then in that case be the team that picks them off around the Nash area and plays from there. Sound like a motorcycle that didn't start. Speaking of starting, let's just head into the game. Misfits have the composition that they want to play the split game, which it works very fine, right? If they have Xayah and Janna in mid, they can clear minion waves very easily, and then Shen, LeBlanc, Gragas can also be in mid to support that. Shen, LeBlanc play the split push game, try to make sure they're ahead through farming. I feel like early game can go both ways. I think the drafts here are very, very even. I think bot lane can also go either way. There are fair strengths to Kog'Maw and Nami. They can definitely outtrade Janna and Xayah heavily, while Xayah and Janna just want to push in the wave and make sure that Kog'Maw is stuck under the turret. LeBlanc and Syndra is definitely a skill matchup as well. I think because of Shen, I think it's favored for LeBlanc. When Shen is going to reach the point where he's level 6, Shen can always support that all in mid lane, and that shield can be enough sometimes to kind of guarantee the success of Power of Evil. Interesting here, we said Power of Evil not running the TP. Usually that has been the standard, and that is a big reason why I've talked about how they can use this split pushing power here. But the way you can place your LeBlanc later on in the game as well is you can use her to harass in mid lane. You can also use her to go top side and then get priority top side while your AD is in mid and gets the wave in mid. And then they just play with LeBlanc through top while Shen is bottom side, and then Shen can still support the all-ins in top side. So that is definitely a way to play it. Something that is very strong here when it comes to LeBlanc is that this Nami has a target on her back. Like, she has like this bullseye on her back, and if Power of Evil is strong enough to one-shot her, it's going to mean so much, because, you know, it is definitely a possibility. You know, like, I think everyone has seen like flashbacks of Nami getting one-shot over and over, and that is definitely a reality here where LeBlanc is in the game. LeBlanc is very good at killing Ardent Sensor supports. Holy moly. Holy, holy, holy. What is happening here? What was double lift? Wait, whoa. Whoa. Double lift. Bro. What was this? Maybe it's not too bad. Like, he has the heal from Nami, so maybe it's not too bad. Maybe he's just genius. Maybe double is just ahead of the curve. He has the cull though, so his life steal is not there, but of course he gets on hit healing. So I guess it's fine. I think it ends up the same early on, but he doesn't have the extra HP. I feel like Cull is a good item choice right now because there's not a lot of all-in bot lanes, and it's all about having a gold advantage. Even though Doublelift drops low here, and you know, Hansama has no potion, Bifrost, knowing he can heal means so much here. Hansama needs to use his warlords to get back up. There's no warlords on Doublelift, so he's gonna not lifesteal as much, but Hansama does have warlords, and maybe, just maybe, they'll try to squeeze in a base here, but it's a cannon wave, so it's very hard to push in. But of course, Bifrost is going to heal his 80. Very important here, something that we didn't mention was that Gragas started on red, and TSM know about this, and Svenskeren started on top side. And the only information that Misfits have so far is the word on golems, and the word on golems doesn't necessarily mean anything. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. But let's see here what Alfari actually goes and spots. It looks like he places a ward, and then he kills the plant, and then that was it. They know that Renekton leashed because he was late to lane, so they can make the assumption that Svenskeren is on bot side. Now the difficult situation now for Misfit is that they are slow pushing their wave, they are low on HP, and Sejuani is bot side and Gragas is top side. So this is where the tricky part comes in. How will they deal with this? They will ward, okay, but at the same time it's a very awkward spot to be in. Doublelift will heal up, and Misfits won't be able to put their wave in a position where they can actually base or kind of come back. Seems like Xayah is just gonna say fuck it and just recall. Janna's gonna stay. I think it's a good decision because, to be honest, what else he's gonna do? He's gonna zone off the wave. Doublelift's full HP now, and it's just gonna be a horrible situation for him. There's no chance for him to redeem this lane matchup, especially when Sejuani is bot side. They still don't know where Sejuani exactly is. She could be roaming around bot side. She could be in base. So this is a wise decision, right? It doesn't get that juicy of a base, and the position TSM's bot lane is in is very, very good. We've talked a lot about how Xayah wants to base on BF. She wants to get BF sword and put herself in that situation because Kog'Maw doesn't base on BF. But Nami and that early trade Doublelift did is enabling them to kind of stick to it. So Doublelift, having the fervor, likes taking those extended trades, and Bifrost being able to heal him up, made sure so he can heal up from that trade, and Doublelift's trade is just better and better. It was a beautiful trade now that we think about it even further and even deeper. Big slow push here in mid. We will have to check if Power of Evil is going to base off of this. I'm not too sure if Renekton got spotted here. Did he get spotted? Like, we see some maneuvering here. Maybe he didn't get spotted. Like, he got spotted on the top ward and a bunch of other wards. And I think Power of Evil is fine. He's fine. So Kog'Maw can now guarantee that he gets the base off of on his recurve bow, and the item choice for Xayah then is going to be like double longsword or something, and it's not going to be the greatest. Now the potions are in fact doing some work here for Hansama. Sadly we didn't get to see the entire trade. Trading starts now, and Hansama coming back to lane with full HP, and trading now onto Bifrost took him to half health. Doublelift is also dropping to half health. Heal was used by Bifrost. Very good trading here by Misfits. I just felt like TSM's bot lane was very uncoordinated there, because Bifrost used his spells, and then Doublelift traded once again when Bifrost has everything on cooldown. I think if they coordinate that better and actually trade together, it would be a lot better. But they were trading unevenly and they couldn't break Janna's shield fast enough. Whoa, 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 whoa. Might not be the best time to drink water. So Gragas got his full clear going. He's going bot side. Svenskeren's camps are spawning. Maxwell started red, so his Raptors are also spawning, but it means he's bot side now for the duration. Very, very well played, you know. It all comes down to those trades that Misfits did before, or Hansama did completely alone, where TSM didn't coordinate it together, so they didn't break the Janna shield. Like Bifrost took a lot of damage there for free, and then he used his W as well, and then Doublelift traded once again, where Bifrost has no W, and this trade ends up heavily in favor of Misfits. So Misfits did some very good trading there, and that sets up this dive here. From the jungle clear from the past was Gragas cleared into top side, Sejuani cleared from top to bottom side, and around 5-minute mark the camps are going to spawn again. You see the Raptors are spawning. The Raptors are spawning means Gragas is bottom side most likely, Sejuani is going to be top side most likely, and that is just the situation. Maxwell goes bottom, picks up a very important kill here. Maybe it's enough for Xayah. You know, now Xayah might, after one wave, maybe she stays for another wave to have money for BF. She doesn't. I don't think she has enough money for BF right off the bat. I don't even think she would have enough if she stayed for another wave, considering the fact that she spent money on boots. So even though Doublelift got killed here, the main advantage Misfits have is the summoner advantage, but item-wise, recurve bow is going to mean a lot more than the double longsword of Hansama. He also has boots, right? But boots is not that too fancy at this point in the game. A lot of back and forth here in bottom. Doublelift is stacking his fervor, and it's not too good from Hansama to take these extended trades. I think the recurve bow is stronger now, and the game should be slightly harder now for bottom, and TSM are kind of reaping what they sowed from that early game, where Hansama had to base at an awkward time and couldn't buy BF sword because it's so important for this lane matchup. Like usually you see a Kog'Maw with a recurve bow and maybe like a shoe, like a boot, and then the Xayah has BF sword, but right now there's double longsword, so big favor now for TSM's bot lane, even though they died. It's crazy to think about it. See his advantage now for Bjergsen. I'm very intrigued by this Ignite choice here by Power of Evil. I don't know if they want to use Shen Ultimate to just force some summoners up in mid lane. Taking these trades is of course better for TSM's bot lane because they have Bifrost with the heal. He is running low on mana though, but the coin is pretty OP when it comes to getting mana back. Power of Evil will use potions to get back an HP. Taking these fights is very dangerous because the main thing here is that sure, Maxlor is here alone and Power of Evil stuck on this turret, but there's a Shen ultimate, and on top of that Maxlor is level 6. Svenskr has no flash for some reason. I'm not sure why he doesn't have flash. I need to take a look here why he doesn't have flash, because I'm not sure at all. Oh, okay. Alright, he flashes in mid. Doesn't have flash from before. Is overextending quite a bit then, considering he has no flash. Gragas is 6. Like, Gragas could have landed a better ultimate. And Syndra has no ultimate too, which is very important as well in this scenario. Like, Syndra just ulted LeBlanc, and LeBlanc just potions up. Like, the ultimate comes in, and right about now, boom, ult comes in, but Power Evil has 3 stacks of Corrupting Potion, so he can just stay, use them all, and get back to almost full health. Whoa, Hansama gets traded on here, but Bifrost is not paying attention to his AD. I feel like they could have coordinated it better. I love the fact that they're playing Nami though. I think Nami fits very well, picking it into Janna, and I think it's going to work. I'm a fan of the Nami pickup. But right here, there's no way in hell they're going to one-shot Gragas, right? He's going to have Shen ultimate. Trading with him at this point in time, I love here what Maxwell is doing, because he knows that Syndra has no ultimate, Svenskr has no flash. I think it's a great commitment here, and it's very important that Misfits give the kill here to their mid laner. Maxwell as well. It's such a good timing here for Maxwell to get a bunch of kills. Not a bunch of kills, but the fact that they kill Svenskeren at this time is so important because the blue buff is just spawning. Blue buff is just spawning, and it means so much. And bottom that is so heavily under siege, of course, would love to have their jungler alive and well at this point in time. Wow, Misfits! It's insane, man. This is like this is like legit. The game could be over this shit. Holy moly, man! What is happening? Crazy stuff. Svenskeren now put himself twice in a situation where he shouldn't be, and they got kind of baited in by the fact that Power of Evil was under his third, which is fine, right? Usually that is the play. But there's Shen ultimate, Gragas ultimate, Gragas 6, Gragas flash, Gragas no flash, sorry. LeBlanc no flash either. I completely missed when they used the summoners. I'm assuming it's the same time as Sejuani. Looking at the cooldown, it looks like it was very similar. Svenskeren being level 5, Shen ultimate also being in the picture. A lot of red flags there, and then bottom that is this heavy trade fiesta that was in favor of TSM, I would say, if you just isolate bot lane. But sadly for TSM, it's not an isolated game, and you know, there are other things that matter here. Very interesting here how Ignar gets level 6 first, because there was this time in the early game where Hans Salmon just based and bought boots, and Mignar was just taking waves by himself. So his level 6 there mattered too, because that heal was quite massive. And that was like definitely a curveball that was thrown in TSM's direction. I just feel like I need to go back and look at that play in mid, because I feel like I completely like I just didn't notice much of what was going on. So we had the play here, flash from Power of Evil, Max Lore. When did Max Lore flash? When did Max Lore flash? Oh, he flashed for this. Okay. Alright. Now everything is under control. Big time for Misfits. Holy moly. So Misfits in the bot lane now, we talked about it, how they didn't have a BF sword, now they have a BF sword, so they're pushing even harder than before. They're just pushing. Janna is quite fed herself too, means she's gonna get that out and sense even earlier. Pushing in the bot lane, and the 2-0 in LeBlanc in mid allows her to get some priority in the mid lane. Syndra is completely blind at this point, and it's hard for Svenskeren to step into this bot side river, because that's what needs to happen right now. But Misfits have full control over bot side river, full control over mid as well, because of the kills and Bjergsen not having any CS. He's trying to equalize the play by going top. I think this is wise, because they need to break the map somehow. Right now, with how the game is going, TSM are going to slowly lose their bot tower. I think it's important as well that Svenskeren commits to the idea of playing through top side, because Shen ult is going to come online soon, and the best way for TSM to gain something in this game is to just give up on bot, I feel, and just play through top and try to aim for this top tower. Because something we didn't talk about at all is Haunter and how he's been pushing top the entire game. Alphari has his ultimate up, and what he wants to do, what Alphari wants to accomplish in this game, is he wants to TP to any situation and get himself ahead by getting kills and assists. And Renekton just wants to keep pushing, and eventually get this tower. Something that is juicy as well as that Sejuani and Renekton have very good synergy. They can apply the stuns together, and you can chain it very easily. Sejuani, her stun gets procced instantly after an auto and W from Renekton. So it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I feel like Svenskeren should just play through mid and follow the idea that Bjergsen had, is to play through mid into top and create vision on top side, because right now Misfits are just under. They just have too much control on both sides. The main thing here, what I'm suggesting, is something they could have done quite some time ago. So right now, during this replay, right now, even now, like they could do something by playing into top side. You can see that all camps are in fact alive, and there's enough vision here to put emphasis on this. They could definitely contest this, and in a 3v3 situation with Renekton involved, I don't think they're that weak. So looking back at it, you know, right now, Infernal Drake is going to be taken by Misfits, but there's no equalizing play here. And considering the position of both bottom and Bjergsen's situation in mid, that he can't do anything into bot side because he's mostly blind. We see one ward here, one ward here, one ward here, one ward here. Sure, it's fine, but this space here is where he's blind. That's what he needs to walk through in order to join his team, right? He would have to take like this long ass path to join, or to accomplish anything, or to group up with his team for Drake. So the way I feel here is that Sejuani should just go with Bjergsen here, play together with him. They give up Infernal Drake and they just play for top tower and take these jungle camps and dive the Shen and try to just take it. Because what other way? Like, is there a way for them to contest Infernal Drake? After all these kills that have happened, is there a way for them to contest Infernal Drake? I sincerely doubt it. Right now, Syndra just needs to respect him mid lane. She's playing towards top side, and rightfully so, right? It's just a fact. Bjergsen has to play like this. Bjergsen is playing wonderfully, like he sees things very well, and there is no way for TSM to contest this. No way. From the kills that happened before, there's just absolutely no way. And there's no counterplay. There was a counterplay if TSM were just ahead of the curve and contested top side and actually created the situation where they were advantageous in and just played towards top side, then maybe they would have gotten the first tower off of this as a punishment, or maybe they would have like gotten all the top side camps as well. Hanzo is taking a heavy chunk by himself, and Syndra did in fact roam into the top side, and Bjergsen was the person that gave me the idea in the first place that they could create this counterplay. In a lot of cases, if you're losing bot side and there's no way for you to create anything, then maybe you should just give up and play into top side and play with that idea. TSM can't place any good TP wards either for Hanzo to kind of step in here. Hansama is trading like crazy, but I think this was a mistake here. Hansama should just play with the wave, and he's playing what's the opposite of playing with the wave? He's not playing with the wave. He's just walking up to Kog'Maw and hard trading when he shouldn't. The main advantage that Xayah and Janna have is that they can push the wave and they can do it very quick and elegant, and then together with the wave they can walk up to the turret and harass the enemy team. But like this, you know, when you trade all in against Fervor Kog'Maw with a Lulu, you're just going to get massacred pretty much. Janna needed to use ultimate, so did Nami, and Hansama is back on the train of thought where he just needs to push. TSM are doing the play where, you know, they're just keeping Hanzo top. I feel like they could have taken the top tower earlier. Keeping Hanzo top, he's taking the tower all by himself, and Svenska is just doing the defensive play into bottom. I think this is also respectable what they're doing. My play was more about just punishing the fact that Misfits will eventually do Rift Herald. I mean, not Rift Herald, they will eventually do Infernal Drake. Hanzo now very far ahead. Main thing is, as later on in the game, Hanzo will go bottom against Shen and is gonna push in. No TP on LeBlanc though, so Renekton won't be able to get too punished in the side lane. He's not gonna get punished at all. He's gonna perma push. Bramblevest now putting down the hurt for Renekton. I feel like LeBlanc has enough money now for her Gunblade, which is going to be a big power spike as well. Gold differential is not that big. Most of the gold is on Renekton though, and I don't feel like that is going to impact the game. You know, all the gold that TSM just got, that Renekton, sure, he has gold in his pocket and it's going to be very strong, but it doesn't impact his 1v1 matchup because he's still has the same amount of priority as before. He's going to go into bottom side, and TSM will want to match here, match the lane matchups, and just go into top side to make sure that Misfits don't pick up a free Rift Herald after getting bot tower. I want to just take a step back to make sure that we saw how this went down. Yeah, they just gave it up, and Syndra just stayed in mid lane, and it's too hard for Syndra to walk into bot side. As long as Misfits just play into bot side here and make sure that LeBlanc goes into bot side, then it becomes more and more difficult for them to defend bottom, because Syndra just plain and simple can't support it. Here's the Gambler ready for LeBlanc. I think YamatoCannon should be ready for Syndra as well. 40 C is ahead in mid lane. Quite crazy, if you ask me. This is something that you can't just ignore, right? Those 2 kills amount to like 30 CS as well. So the mid laners are quite even in gold right now. Kog'Maw, Ginsu's Rage Blade already finished. Svensson is doing this thing that when he's just standing behind his team at all times. I feel like TSM are missing a very important step here. I think if they isolate top lane and play through mid into top, then things are going to get better. But Misfits are constantly... The biggest issue here for Bjergsen is that he's always blind in this area. Always blind in this area. This is where Misfits are controlling with their pink wards, and they're doing it very, very well. Same thing earlier on. Syndra couldn't support anything at all because of this. And I feel like 2v2, TSM have some potential here. They have some potential. The main issue for them is the Shen TP. So it's important that they coordinate. What Hunter is doing here is that he's pushing bottom, right? He's pushing bottom as far as he can, and then he's roaming into mid and making sure that the situation in mid lane is going to be a 3v3. When they have the 3v3 situation in mid and get priority, they need to take this space here and then eventually clear these pink wards and give Syndra more room to work with. Because right now it's not working. LeBlanc is pressuring into top. Gragas is pressuring into top. The other play as well is to just maintain around mid lane and then just pressure into mid lane to force them to show and then go into river again. It's all about that top side river right now. Let's see how this pans out. We have a clash and a flash. Something similar to what we just talked about. Sejuani did in fact contest, but the fight commences when Renekton is starting to move bottom side. He's quite close. Flash comes in and Ignite also from Power of Evil. Summoner, trade. Ignite is going to come off cooldown faster than Flash, of course. So it's a good situation for Misfits here. But of course they use Shen ultimate. It seems like it's enough for Misfits to maintain the river control and then do Rift Herald. Keep in mind, top side, Xayah and Janna against Kog'Maw and Nami. They're consistently just pushing them in, and Kog'Maw is under the turret. That's why the thing in mid lane is so important, right? Winning this clash in mid lane is so important, because if Misfits are in a situation where they have 2 pushing lanes on top side, they're going to be able to secure all the objectives and secure the river. But I think Misfits also executed the situation quite well. I feel like the timing from TSM could have been a bit better, because right now you can see that Renekton is walking right now this path, while Svensson is taking this path, and he's going to be late for the situation that they create for themselves in mid lane. If we play this through once again. And all in all, like Svenskeren was just supporting in case LeBlanc and Gragas dive, which is sometimes something you have to do, right? The defensive play from TSM happened because they were behind on tempo from the previous situation. Let's take a look at the previous situation just to make sure. So Syndra base second, LeBlanc base first. She comes out on the map. Svenskeren is forced to make a defensive play because they see the dive top coming. So this is a good decision from Svenskeren. They see the dive coming. They are 3 under the turret. Misfits cannot dive. Bjergsen gets mid priority off of this. Maybe, I don't know if Hansa could stay longer. Like, they got the wave in mid. He stayed long enough for the wave to be killed in mid. Maybe the problem here is the position of Bjergsen. Maybe Bjergsen should be standing here. Instead of standing at this angle where he is, like where he can get engaged on by LeBlanc, maybe he should stand here and support the ward clearing here. But either way, like, LeBlanc can still like W over the wall and then maybe reach here. But I think it's way harder to do. After they made the defensive play on top, maybe the best course of action is just to wait for Hansa to push another wave. Because the play they could do as well is that they recognize that they had to do the defensive play into bottom, and they just wait for Hansa to gain pressure once again. So if they just wait here, let Hansa walk down into bottom, push out bottom before like this situation happened, right? And Shen used ultimate, and Shen was on point here. He was around. Bjergsen is low. Parvi was going to heal up a bit because of the situation, and then Misfits of course have priority in top side, so they could just walk into the refilled space here. Maybe the best course of action for TSM would just be to tell Hansa, yeah, you can push in bottom, another wave, then you go into mid, and then we try again in a situation where we don't have to make a defensive play. But the issue is still, you know, every time I see a team facing Janna and Xayah, it's just such a big issue that the enemy team can constantly have priority on you. Bjergsen has no flash. Bjergsen has no flash. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Kog'Maw's in base. Misfits have base priority on their bot lane. Bjergsen has heal and mercs. Is the problem is it just that the Gragas ultimate is just too delayed? Like, if the Gragas ultimate lands earlier, it means that Bjergsen is CC'd for a longer duration. Holy moly, the fact that Bjergsen lives this, it's crazy. Like, the MR is definitely doing a lot of work here. This is so important here. Stun lands on Power of Evil. Very low on HP. Instant TP from Hansa. Very well played here from TSM. Very good response. I'm just thinking if the case would be different if Maxwell just ulted instantly. He just ulted here, and Power of Evil could also flash the stun from Bjergsen. Like, if he just flashed at a good timing there, and then if he didn't get stunned, he wouldn't have died. Maybe we'll get extra auto off from Bjergsen. Bjergsen has survived for a long time. Like, what damage is missing here? Like, if the ult from Gragas comes earlier, there's no heal from Nami, and then maybe that's enough to kill Bjergsen here. Because Maxwell not ulting is an issue here. Like, if he gets ulted early on, he doesn't get healed, and he dies. Like, he survives after the heal with this amount of HP. So if Maxwell ults right away, he's dead. And if Power of Evil flashes, if he flashes maybe in this space here, maybe they could survive. Like, it's a hard situation to see what would happen if they played the kill on Bjergsen well. Would they survive? Most likely. Maybe they would go 1-for-1 here. Looks like a 1-to-1, 1-for-1 situation if they played well. But maybe they would just both die. Shen has no ultimate as well, because of the situation before. So maybe this play is just bad to go for, because there's no Shen ult. Like, there's no Shen ult, and they're trying to go for the no flash Bjergsen. Like, it's a respectable play, right? But Nami is roaming from top. They don't know if Nami is in base or not, if she just walks straight from top or if she is in base. They don't have vision on Sejuani, but that's the risk they're taking, right? Because they are thinking, like, if Sejuani is here, then it's fine. Renekton can TP. The timing of Nami is just so clutch here. Like, Nami, instead of basing, just went straight into the space. Like, Nami was up top lane and walks straight into mid lane right here. Like, he has his Ardent Sensor and he probably doesn't have a lot of money, but the 6th sense here from Bifrost is insane. Because Kog'Maw, the main thing here is that Kog'Maw bases and then comes back here, and Xayah and Janna did something similar. Xayah and Janna pushed and base first, which means they have priority over double lift, but Nami walks here instantly. So just because Nami didn't base and walked here instantly, she's the one that has priority over Xayah and Janna, which is, like, right here it becomes super clutch. I think either way, Maxwell would probably die because of this TP from Hauntzer. And Bjergsen, if he got ulted by Gragas, he would have died too. And then I feel like if Power of Evil uses Flash better, maybe he could use the space behind him. But Bifrost does a very clutch thing here, that he walks straight into mid from top, and it puts him in a situation where he actually has priority, even though in theory he shouldn't have priority. And what would he base for? Like, he doesn't have a lot of money. Like, he would maybe get boots, maybe a Sidestone, I don't know, maybe Sidestone would be key here, who knows. All in all, is the conclusion that this is a good play? I don't think so. I feel like committing to something like this without the Shen ultimate is too risky. It's too risky. But it's respectable, right? It's not like, oh wow, this is stupid. No, it's like Syndra has no flash. They tried to one-shot her, didn't pan out. She has no magic mantle. The MR is paying off. Gives Bifrost a freaking... give him a medal. TSM will get the Infernal Drake, so the game is completely even right now. Completely even. The situation is still intact though from before. Shen ultimate is coming up, and then Hansa is not going to have TP. So it's going to be hard for TSM to respond to the fact that Shen has priority. Maybe Misfits can use this to break the base. If Misfits keep playing the same way, where they try to get control over river, Shen ult is going to come up soon. When they have control over river, like Bjergsen still has no summoners, right? So they can easily use Shen ultimate to just kill him when the game is not in a state where everyone's grouped. So Hansa just needs to keep doing the same, needs to push out bottom, walk into mid, and pressure mid as much as he can, and time it together with Sejuani. Sejuani is now on golems, so he's nowhere to be found. But the beauty of this is Misfits are just grouping up to just use the Rift Herald, I feel. The Rift Herald should run out at some point in time. Okay, we have 1/3, so they have some time to work with. My thought was that they are just grouping in time for the Renekton pressure, so they can maintain pressure in mid. TSM's bot lane are walking Okay. Kog'Maw just staying top. Oh, I think Bifrost is just on point. Bifrost is really on point where he should be. It's very impressive that even in a situation where he's getting pushed in, he's taking all the right decisions of where he needs to be. Like Doublelift is currently under no threat, and they used the time where Renekton was here to actually gain something, but what Xayah was walking down from bottom and Shen has ultimate, so it was practically eventually a 5v4 situation. And the tower has fallen. I'm assuming Misfits now will just run it down mid with the Rift Herald. They kind of have to before it runs out. Yeah, Rift Herald has been used. I don't know if Misfits can just straight up take the tower here, because it's really predictable what's going on here. Like, sure, they'll get a decent chunk, but getting the tower, no. Like, at any point in time, if Misfits just did the play where they pushed out top and then rotated into mid, then it would have been a better situation. But instead they're doing like the thing where they base before and then walk into mid, because right now TSM are under no threat, they are under no pressure, there's no pressure top side, they don't need to stay there, they can just group up and clear the Rift Herald for free. But this might be a question of timing, you know, Rift Herald was coming off, you know, they just had to use it eventually. We could look for an opportunity where they could use it better. So this was after the fight. TSM now on the back foot because Shen ult is coming off cooldown. Honsor is grouping up. This is where Bifrost is doing the impressive thing where he is together with his team at the right time. TSM are playing like good macro here and trying to contest the vision, even though it's quite hard because Shen has ult and Misfits are in position. The only other situation I see is right here. If they just, instead of walking up to the top tower, they just walked straight through here and into here, and then used the next upcoming mid wave to Rift Herald and go for the turret. But even that would be like wonky as all hell, and not even guaranteed that they would get it if TSM just cleared the top wave and then walk into mid. So they would be mid lane at around now. They would be clearing this wave. Rift Herald would be used. Bjergsen would be able to stun it, maybe clear the creeps. Nah, I think the play they did was completely fine. It was fine. Might have been a chance that if they rotated right there, that they could have gone towards the mid tower, but it's not 100% certain. I'm not certain about it. And you know, Xayah had enough money to just get rapid fire cannon. So this matters too. Kog'Maw as an AD spikes very hard when he's even, but in this game he is far from even. He's behind Xayah by quite a lot. Hansama has a lot of items and he has arguably the better Ardent Sensor support. She can like consistently put E on her AD. She can have it up. She can have Ardent Sensor uptime at all times, and Nami not so much. Like her, she has her W right, but the Ardent Sensor duration is not like her uptime on Ardent Sensor is not as good as Janna. So now we have the situation we talked about in Champion Select, where Misfits are just playing the split push game. Shen is going to be bottom against Honsor, and Parvil will go top side, and Xayah and Janna together will clear all the mid waves and keep mid wave pushed. That's a flash forced. Honsor is doing the best he can to roam into mid lane with the pressure he has bottom. It's a good idea, you know, always when you're playing top lane, if you have priority and you're pushing, always transition that into other lanes. Push and then rotate, push and rotate, push and rotate. Always make sure that you are in a situation where you're actually helping your team. A lot of top laners or low quality top laners are just trying to land a Renekton Q on the Shen under the turret, and it ends up not mattering at all, you know, and all this kind of shit that just doesn't make a difference. It's better to just support your team, like Hanser is doing here. Very neat itemization here for double lift, the fact that he can go with send and take less damage from the sniper level on. It's very important for Bifrost to buy MR as soon as possible, because that he's going to be the target for power review, 100%. Whoa, power review now. Wow. Okay, let's take a look at the situation here. Let's assess. I would love to, let's just think about the vision that TSM have here. They're not working with much on the bottom side, and let's just mark it out. We have ward here, so right here he sees the space that Misfits is in, he doesn't see, so he's taking a risk here because he's blind in this area. It looks like he warded this. Misfits have priority in mid lane, so he can't go too far. Let's play it out. Pink ward gets cleared out, and Hanser is just taking a wave too far forward. He's just completely blind and he's working with nothing. He's working with no vision at all, and the only play that TSM have right here is that they need to group as 4 in mid and take priority in mid, and then try to face check things here together with Sejuani. Hanser is just killing the wave too far forward. He sees the Gragas on the ward right now. He's clearing the pink as we speak, and he just gets massacred here. Like, no one's showing up top and is slow pushing towards Misfits, so they are very, very happy with the wave situation top. But Hanser needs to be patient because TSM are grouping up as 4 now, taking priority as in mid, and that forces Misfits to show. It forces Misfits to show right. They need to show to defend their mid tower. They need to show if Misfits want to contest the mid wave, they need to be with 4 people as well, and then Hanser has space to push. Or Misfits don't show with enough people, and TSM are gonna get priority, and they can start sieging into mid, or maybe move into bottom to support it. So right now, like, TSM are doing the right move. Hanser just is overextending here big time. Because the only play TSM had was to group mid, force Misfits to show under the turret here, under the turret, or force Misfits to show to contest the wave. Either way, it solves the issue that Hanser is having here, that he's completely blind and he has to wait for his team to be active. So this was a mistake from Hanser, definitely. And he burned his flash, and he didn't need to die at all. Bjergsen just using this time to clear the top wave, because the top wave is in a bad situation. They're losing a lot of CS. Maybe they can pick up a blue buff, but either way, Misfits are going to take mid tower that was chucked from before because of the rift held. LeBlanc is getting stronger and stronger. With Sam finished on Kog'Maw means he's not going to get one popped anymore, which is also very important against Power of Evil. Power of Evil, once again, his target is going to be this Bifrost. Crazy Nash start here. Infernal Drake was done by Misfits. Holy moly, they just get it. Whew. Wow, I didn't consider this at all. I just looked at TSM and I thought that their team is not going to be strong enough to do Nash. I saw Kog'Maw in base right now, and it just seemed like such a clear-cut situation where Misfits won't get punished. But Power of Evil is in bot lane. He has no TP, right? He's in bot lane. Gragas is over here. Top lane is pushed in, so they have priority in here. saying TSM. And then Zaya right now and Misfits, they just want to base at this point in time. Like, they didn't base for a very long time. They were sieging mid and taking priority for a very long time. TSM just fucking seized the day here. They know LeBlanc is basing, and they have so many pink wards on top side as well. Absolutely crazy game. So now TSM is just back in the driver's seat. Hansen no TP, so he's gonna have to do a lot of grouping. No Shannon to ultimate either, because it was used on LeBlanc, because Shannon was afraid with the LeBlanc one shot. That's a pause. Misfits realize now that Baron is taken. Oof. I'm feeling extra fatigue. I'm feeling super fatigued in day 4 of the group stage. Pardon my yawning. I hope it can be understandable, but to be honest, I want to take a look more at this Baron situation. So the kill happens. The main issue to me is that Power Wheel just stays bottom for such a long time. And then they use so many people to do the Drake. So this is done, said and done. Maybe already now Power Wheel should just recall, because he doesn't need to touch the wave anymore. Like, bottom is already slow pushing towards him, so he's not going to lose much. So he could be basing right now and walking towards mid. Baron is just being done straight off the bat here. It's just such a good gamble here from TSM, because it just doesn't cross the mind of Misfits. It didn't cross my mind either. Yeah, Power Wheel would just need to base earlier, for sure. Power Wheel had to base after that initial wave. He didn't need to clear another one. I'm thinking if this was just, maybe it just wasn't the right time to do Baron. I mean, right time to do Drake. Of course, like, Misfits didn't think about it at all, the possibility that TSM would just straight up do Nashor. If that was in their minds, then, you know, the play becomes a lot easier. They push mid and then they just walk towards top side, clear the wards, put a ward or two, go, take another mid wave, maybe solo kill Drake with Gragas, because they have such a big vision advantage on bottom side, and then it's all good. But this was sincerely, like, really unexpected, and it worked out fine, right? You know, now when in hindsight, it's very easy to say that, yeah, they should have just pushed mid wave, the previous one, not do Infernal Drake, and then walk towards Nash and just place a ward, because TSM are working with a lot of topside vision and topside priority here. And on top of that, I think the biggest issue here is that Power of Evil decided to stay for another wave. Right here, I think he should just recall, go towards topside and catch topside and be in position. And that would have been very beneficial here as well. He could have been top lane already and clearing, and even here, because of what Syndra is doing, maybe the right decision for Misfits is just to step into here, clear here, and cut Syndra off, force her to group up, and then all their potential is just gone. And I think even here, like, Maxwell could just be soloing this. He could just be soloing this in the fog of war that they've created here. They know for a fact that there's no wards at all in this space, because no one in TSM's team has like been in this area for a very long time, right? They haven't been here for ages, and definitely they are completely blind. So Maxwell could just be soloing this instead of doing what they're doing. LeBlanc should have based before. The wave was already slow pushing towards him, unless it was a cannon. Might have been a cannon, then it wouldn't have been a slow push. It would have slow pushed towards TSM. Then even in that case, doesn't matter at all. Like, basing and catching top would be better here for sure. So all in all, in hindsight, Gragas should have soloed this. LeBlanc should have based earlier and cleared top side, and then Zaya and Jana and etc. should just stay around in mid and walk towards top side to cut the Syndra off together with LeBlanc. Maybe the other play, maybe it's safer to not do Drake, push mid wave, take mid tower, go towards top side, suffocate Syndra out, and then go towards bot side once again when Syndra decides to show up together with the rest of her team in mid lane, because she has to eventually. But brilliantly taken by TSM. Very, very good Baron overall. We're just discussing what would have been the optimal play. We got the pause once again. We have the advantage of being able to click past this. Alright, we're back. Looks like live action right here. TSM need to play very similarly, where they group up as 4 and get priority as 4 and then just spread it across the map. Hansel now with his Nashor as well and the TP is going to be able to take possibly 2 towers all by himself against the Shen. Big level advantage for him. He's 15, approaching level 16, and Alphari just hit level 14. We can see that Hansel has built up a very hefty lead for himself, and together with his Baron might be able to take a turret by himself on bottom as well. He already took one. TSM now in the mid lane. Whoa. Bjergsen gets in. Sejuani ult completely whiffs here. TSM are just using the priority, and like they're just face shaking into here because they see Zaya here and Jana here and also the LeBlanc, which is good. Maxwell is contesting this and following them around. Very good Gragas ultimate here. Starts out the fight in a very, very good way. LeBlanc is still nowhere to be seen. It's crazy how Zaya and Jana could be here so fast and LeBlanc was so close to them, but now LeBlanc is so far away. I think Power Evil could potentially be here faster. Let's rewind that tape to see if it could be here faster. So Zaya and Jana are walking right now. He's clearing a cannon minion. That's what he's doing. He's clearing a cannon minion with auto attacks, and that's why he's so slow. He could have just rushed just straight. Could have been here earlier. Beautiful ultimate here from Maxlor. Good ultimate from Nami, but Svensker's ultimate just doesn't hit anything, and that's disappointing. Main thing here is that Misfits have priority in top, and they also defended mid lane successfully. So the only threat for TSM here is the bottom side of the map. Power Evil, ooh, Ignar, crazy. Like, why would you do that? I don't like Jana players that do that, flash in and ult. Like, what's the point, man? You think you're a Gragas? Holy. So Bjergsen does it very beautifully here. What does he even? I wanted to see what he did with his E. So the main thing here is Ignar with his flash ultimate. Like, what is up here? Did he just screw his Shen over? Because Shen, I don't think Shen taunts everything when he taunts in. No, he just taunts in. Power of Evil kind of pussies out. He kind of W's back, and Alphari is like spam pressing taunt. And maybe Power of Evil had to, because he was taking a lot of damage, right? Maybe he had to jump back because maybe he would just get one-shotted right off the bat if he didn't. But Alphari wasted his taunt, and the way Ignar just flashes in and ults, I don't think it really does anything. He just got killed, and I don't think that's positive. You know, Power of Evil's target selection here is also horrendous. Like, if you know, what is he aiming for here? He's, instead of these two, you know, right here, if Power of Evil just keeps this distance and just trades and tries to one-shot Bifrost right here, instead of jumping in to these potatoes here, then Shen would actually have a better angle. He wouldn't have to jump back all the way here, and Shen would have a better angle. The main thing here is as well is if Paraveil is more patient, if LeBlanc is more patient and jumps in the moment Shen pops out, then it's also a lot juicier, because LeBlanc didn't need to W here. She could just be walking towards here, and then she could W the moment Shen is popping out, and then they could burst these two targets together. Because right now there's no Shen ultimate, there's Renekton, right? Renekton would have a hard time reaching people over here, and I am just baffled, because looking at this situation, Misfits misplayed this a lot here. They misplayed here a lot. Paraveil wasted all his spells, and Ignar just gets one-shotted. He just straight up gets one-shotted, and they could have played this fight so much better. So much better. You know, looking at the situation, it doesn't look bad at all, considering that Bifrost is close to half HP, and Paraveil has a great angle here. You know, all Hansama and Ignar need to do is just push on forward and make sure that they are walking with the team and autoing whatever wants to run towards this angle, and keep moving forward and make sure that Maxlor engages forward. Maxlor forward, these forward, you know, this forward, no flashing over the fucking wall like the Janna did, you know. Paraveil just needs to, like, maybe they should start channeling the Shen ult already, and then the moment it pops, W in, and also focus this target here, because these people are definitely the most key members on Misfits. It's also very important, I think, the reasoning for why they go on Bjergsen here is because Kog'Maw has a lot of MR, and Bjergsen is half HP with no flash, so that could be the reasoning why. But then the point still stands that he should jump in at a better angle then, instead of wasting two Ws. Like this was one W, this was one W, the ult W, right? And then make sure that he jumps in at a time that Shen, like when he pops, right? You could also use LeBlanc's ultimate to create a clone for yourself and make sure that you don't get one-shotted, right? You kind of blink in and out of reality for a second there, or you don't blink in and out of reality, but you become invisible in theory. And he could have just, you made sure that the Shen ultimate popped at the same time he popped, and maybe they could have actually killed Bjergsen here. There's no Nami ultimate, there's no Sejuani ultimate, there's no Gragas ultimate here, and I feel like Misfits could have just played this better. I think Ignar hero play here is laughable. Like, I think it's not that good what happened here, and Bifrost just cancelled his ult and he got one-shotted. But I think what Paraveil did as well, I think even his ult even got cancelled by Svenskeren, if I'm seeing it correctly. Yeah, he just cancelled his ult, so he didn't do any damage. Or maybe he did, because I see the mark on Bjergsen, but maybe he just used a spell. Yeah, maybe the W, the ult hit Bjergsen. Maybe I'm wrong. But nevertheless, Misfits could have played this 10 times better. Let's continue. Whoa. It's a good thing to do what Paraveil was doing here. Just make sure that they can... Oh! Holy moly. It's a great thing what Paraveil was doing here. Stopping their bases, and their Nashor is pretty much over at this point, you know. Nashor... Sure, they have some Nashor recalls, but they canceled, the bases got cancelled for a very long time, and Paraveil also picked up a kill. It means a lot here. It means that Nashor is over. Nashor was over regardless if they picked up kills or not, but they delayed them big time on the pressure here. Infernal Drake actually scales really hard for LeBlanc because she buys Hextech Gunblade, so she gets the AD portion and the AP portion big time. Here, once again, you know, Paraveil, the way he ulted in, you know, is just not good. And I think this could have been just played a lot better. They could have made sure they committed at the same time, and it would have been a lot better. I feel. You know, if the timing for Shen was better and he could actually be on top of the Syndra right now and taunting in and doing things here, doing shenanigans, then it would have been better. Like if TSM were forced to focus Alfari, you know, from a better angle, you know, he's no longer a threat because he taunted and did nothing with it, and you know, he's just a walking blob of meat at this point. Pariel had to jump back, and if they timed this more like better, so Shen actually pops up the moment LeBlanc jumps in, then it's a lot better. And I feel like in this position, what LeBlanc needed to do was just W over the wall, and then Q, and then ult, you know, an E onto Bjergsen. Main thing is that it's hard regardless for LeBlanc to get her damage off completely there, because even if she Q ults, she has to wait until the passive procs, and it might be hard to land the root. So maybe the play where he's just going for this is optimal, the W into ult. Nevertheless, I think the timing is the most important part with Shen. No, someone is still on Bjergsen. He could have killed Bifrost, but you know, Bifrost applies Ardent Sensor, but he had no ultimate as well. Maybe the consideration is that Bifrost is just a walking fish and doesn't do much, and the key targets are Syndra in that fight, you know. So the reasoning to go for Syndra is still completely fine. Mountain Drake, sadly no more Infernal Drakes can spawn. Let's take a step back here. No Baron online, so LeBlanc is just getting priority bottom. I'm just thinking if going for Hourglass is the correct build here for LeBlanc. I'm assuming his reasoning is that he can't stay in the fights long enough for him to get a good Shen ult off. But I feel like maybe Voice Staff would have been more important here. No MR yet on Bifrost. I'm just thinking it's hard for them to kill Kog'Maw enough already. Like, how do they kill Kog'Maw? And that is like the big question mark. Maxwell gets it. Bifrost is low. Pariel doesn't get to proc the passive. I want to take a step back even further to just take a look at the situation, how we came in to this situation. Like, what is going on? There was a long sequence of stuff. Like, we just get thrown into it. TSM are grouped around mid lane. They're just starting to channel recalls. Alright. They're just channeling recalls and they don't really have any items in base or anything. Clear the mid wave into recall, into getting top wave, I assume. LeBlanc didn't need to base because she was around for a very long time and got the Renekton kill and got the blue buff. So because TSM based, Misfits put themselves in a situation where they got all the vision, they got the middle wave priority, bottom priority, and set themselves up for the Mountain Drake. Our TSM just basing a bit too much. They're basing for some items, they're basing for the Hurricane, so maybe it's not too terrible. Basing for some pinks as well, basing for some wards. They did place a lot of them on top side. They have that set up at least for Nashor when it comes up. But for the Drake, they just kind of had to give it up here unless they want to contest it. Beauty of this though is that if TSM decided to not contest this and just went straight, like if they just recognized the fact that this was taken and this space was taken already, they could face check with Svenskeren into here, then they could just take this mid wave to get mid tower, and it would have been like a fine trade because Mountain Drake, who cares? It's not that big of a deal. Because if they just completely ignored, like the play they're doing here is that they had priority into mid-right, and they could have just done this play earlier, and maybe they would have enough time to just get the turret. But TSM back off at a good time. They don't want Paraviv to get that good angle again. Baron's also spawning. Some noise in the background. So what do we need from both teams? TSM have this death ball going on for them, and Misfits have the ability to tag in and out. The main thing here for TSM is that eventually, you know, Paraviv doesn't have TP, right? He doesn't have TP, so it's not like TSM are on some timer to force something. They just need to remain a death ball. And the main difficulty for Misfits, I feel, is that they will have to look for picks. They'll have to look for picks, and TSM will just have to stay grouped together. And eventually TSM, with the fact that they're staying grouped together, can eventually maintain control around the Nash area. Misfits clear waves very, very fast. I think there's a strength to Misfits composition that they are very, very mobile, and the engage on TSM side is not super reliable. Like sure, Sejuani ult can land onto some key targets, but other than that, like, it's hard to catch a LeBlanc with Sejuani ultimate. It's hard to catch a Xayah when she has her own ultimate, and there will be a lot of dancing going on, as we can see. Let's see if Paraviv can hit some harass. I think if anything, Paraviv should try to just snipe Bifrost, if anything. But TSM are working around the fact that they have a pink ward. One creep is walking towards tower and mid lane, not enough to create something. You know, Misfits have an advantage here because they have a good position for the next mid wave, and it's going to be hard for TSM to just get onto them. Whoa, a lot of passive stacks here for LeBlanc. If she managed to hit that Q there on these people, then it would have been crazy. Honser is in deep, but he has GA. TP goes down, Hansama gets a good E. Bifrost should... Bifrost... Oh, Bjergsen even dies. Alright, let's take a step back. Insane engage here from Maxlor. Doesn't get the ult off, which is quite key. Usually you E ult and then flash, and then it would have been probably even more insane than it looks right now. And then Bjergsen wouldn't get that E off onto him. The damage that LeBlanc gets in here on this stack of people is also quite good. Gragas barrel lands on 3 people. Bjergsen right now and Doublelift, they are stacked up together. Hansama could have potentially done even more here if he just burnt his flash. There is a flash on Doublelift though. Bjergsen had to burn flash earlier, and Bifrost also flashed already. Flash taunt onto Bjergsen because he's the slowest target on his team. Ignar with the battle Janna. Let's see now if Misfits are healthy enough to do Baron. Like, the key targets are healthy, right? They're not going to take a lot of damage from it. But it just seems like as if Kog'Maw just walks in here and autos LeBlanc once or whatever, then the situation will end quite bad. So this decision is fine too. Main thing here is that Misfits have waves pushing in towards TSM, and they can use these waves to maintain pressure around the Baron. But I want to take a look at this team fight once again, because this is what this game comes down to. It feels like the contention of waves is very close and very intense, and it's all about these skirmishes and these fights. So a big issue here for TSM is the fact that they are grouping up so heavily. The key targets right here. They are just stuck here in an Illuminati triangle. Right here. This is the issue right now for TSM. The fact that they are in this little triangle here and they are just getting caught in the engage. Because in a case where, for example, Bjergsen is standing here, or let's say the front line is standing here, that could also be an argument that Hanser and Svenskeren shouldn't be standing in this bush. We can take a step back and look why they are in this position. Like maybe Hanser shouldn't be walking backwards now. Like maybe there's a mistake already that they are trying to take the path towards Baron when in reality they can't. Because right now, like plain and simple, they lost the fight because Maxlor E'd 3 people. Plain and simple, boom. Maybe the mistake is that they're just walking upwards when they don't have to. They have to, like, right now, they should be walking towards here. They should be walking towards here, towards this angle, to make sure that they are still grouped. Because, of course, Misfits, they have better position for the mid-wave already. There's no way they're going to get that. So, them fapping around this side is not good. This puts them in the really awkward situation where they don't have anywhere to run. They were dancing around in this area a bit too much. And this was the dead zone for them. They had no reason to be here, right? Absolutely no reason. No reason to be in this area. No reason to be in this space. They could have plain and simple just stood around here and they would have accomplished the same. Hanser, the thing is, you could say that Hanser should be walking in here, but he would take so much free damage and it would also be a problem. Like if Hanser walks here to stop the Gragas E, then he would have been autoed by Hans Sama, he would have been traded on by Power of Evil, and he would potentially even die. He would take so much damage and it wouldn't have been a good situation. So the mistake is obviously like TSM. They shouldn't have walked up here. Biggest issue in this fight is that Misfits get the E onto so many people here from Gragas, and then Nami and Syndra need to flash. Doublelift could stay in. Shenwood comes in, and then we have the flash taunt here on Bjergsen, because he's the slowest member on TSM, right? He doesn't have a lot of movement speed, and he gets taunted here with no flash. Nami has a lot of movement speed because when she's healing people, she's healing herself as well, and you know, she just gains movement speed. Interesting fight for sure. I think this is what the game will come down to, all the fights that are happening back and forth, all the fights that we've been seeing, because both teams are doing a very good job of contesting the waves and always trading position, always trading position. When the enemy team is doing Nash Vision, you take control over the mid, and when they are trying to come back to take control of a mid, you take over Nash Vision. It's kind of this very intense Baron dance. And maybe I tried too hard to analyze it, when in reality both teams are just executing it very well. There is little room for weakness, and what it will come down to is the team fighting. The advantage I feel that Misfits have is that they can play on the side lane a bit better. They have a big wave up top that is working for them. Hanser is also pushing in. Syndra is out of position now. As we mentioned before, was that Misfits based, and they have these waves really working for them. Like these waves are employed by Misfits. These waves are like shaped like bunnies pretty much. You know, I can't paint a bunny, but that's as best as it can go. So Misfits are just committing to this. I have a feeling that maybe the decision for Syndra here would be to just ignore this wave, because her position is going to be a big issue here. Big issue here that Syndra is out of position. They forced the TP from Hanser. I have no idea if Misfits could have just continued. The main thing for Misfits is that they have no vision in enemy jungle, so it's kind of a hard decision to make. Could they have continued? Let's take a look here. 5k, Syndra. Like right now, if they're just hitting Nashor, could they just have finished it? I'm not sure where Power Wheel was going. Like, Power Wheel was running away here. He's over here, and maybe if he was using some spells on Nashor, like LeBlanc does not do that much damage to Nashor, right? But maybe it would have made a difference. Could they finish Nash straight up here? Like, Xayah does a lot of damage now as well. Maybe it was like there was some potential to it. Like it would have been close. So, you know, 4k is still a lot of health, right? Like, they're just burning it so fast right here. They're burning it quite fast. They TSM already have the angle. I don't think it's possible. But the main thing here for me is that Syndra is not there yet, and the TP has started pretty late. So if this tornado was started a bit, you know, if Misfits committed to this Baron with the intent to turn, imagine right now here, like, Syndra is up top, right? They spotted her about 4 seconds ago. Syndra's up top. If Gragas is positioned here and LeBlanc is positioned here, and they are looking to kind of cut the enemy off here by engaging on them the moment they walk up and continuing to hit Nash while LeBlanc is standing here. This is LB and this is Gragas right here. Then they could set up a situation where they could turn. Maybe it would have been better. Because I feel like this is such an advantageous position, and I feel like using it for Hansa's TP is just not fancy enough at this point in time, I feel. Would it have been just a straight up 50-50 if that was the case? No summoners on anyone, you know, so having a pink ward in here and clearing this pink ward is in a lot of cases just good enough to get a very good engage onto these people. Syndra's out of position, she's gonna have to walk for a very long time. Maybe she can take the more aggressive path here. But if LeBlanc is here and everyone is here, like Gragas is here too, then maybe it would have been better. Like, the arguments against the play is that there's no Shen ultimate, so it's hard for him to get in there, right? It's hard for him to just get in and also taunt the enemy. He has no flash either, so he's not that useful. There's no Janna ultimate. I don't think Xayah ultimate is off cooldown either. So it's understandable. I think the play I'm suggesting would come with a lot of risk. It would come with a lot of 50-50s. Maybe the engage wouldn't work as they hoped. Maybe Nami ults at the right time, and all of a sudden the Gragas E gets cancelled and LeBlanc doesn't get her spells off. You know, to be fair, there's a lot of things that scream risk with what I'm suggesting. I just want to make sure that we explore every possibility here. I am kind of sharing I'm sharing my thought process with you guys by you know, having a thought and then expanding on it, and then maybe reaching a completely different conclusion than what I initially thought. You know, I'm sharing my deepest thoughts with you guys, you know. It's all continuing now. Misfits will just push out bottom, but the CS that Shen is gonna get back now from Renekton being no TP is not gonna matter in the game. The CS from sides is not gonna be the deciding factor. A big issue for LeBlanc, I feel, is that she doesn't have Void Staff. She's going to finish her Hourglass, and that is going to allow her to go deeper. And I feel like in a situation where both teams don't have summoners, then TSM are going to be in a worse situation, because they have Nami. They don't have like a support that can peel very, very well. So latching on to Bjergsen is a very easy thing to do. Latching on to Doublelift is a very easy thing to do, and it's all about Renekton and Sejuani peeling. And even that, you know, is not that big of a deal. You know, Misfits having no summoners is not that big of a deal. Maybe Shen Taunt and Gragas E, Gragas Flash. Gragas Flash and Shen Flash are the biggest, most important ones. But when the enemy team doesn't have Flash either, I think it's a bigger deal, because Misfits have a lot of kind of mobility. Like if I would compare this to StarCraft, then Misfits would be Zerg right now, and TSM would be like Protoss with their Death Ball, you know. But I feel like they are at a disadvantage without summoners. Svenskeren is quite deep here. Root doesn't land, but I don't think it would have mattered anyway. The speed up from Nami would have been big enough for him to just get away from that chain. Shen is pushing down bottom. Hanzo can't really deal with it. So right now we have a situation where TSM are on the clock. Because the moment Renekton goes down bottom, Misfits will of course just try to force a fight and start to force an Asher. TSM will just have to force Asher here, they just have to start it. There's no other way around it. They can't send Hunter into the bot lane, it's just simply too late. Unless they're just willing to lose their inhib. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. I loved how Nami ults always interrupts Janna ult here. Very well placed and well timed, I would say. Maxlow has to walk out. He survives with a sliver of health. Main thing here is that Svenskeren managed to force Maxlow's ultimate, and I think Maxlow is walking in here a bit too early. And Misfits are just not in position to retaliate here. Like Power Evil's over here, Igna's over here, and Zaya's over here, like even further down, like maybe 400 yards, 400 ranged units. I don't know what metric system they use in League. They just call it range. So right now when Maxlow face checks, there's no possibility of retaliation from Misfits. I'm not too sure about Igna's items at this point. I think he has a Mikhail's and a Redemption, and of course the Ardent Sensor. But looking at this, you know, there's no retaliation and Maxwell just face checks a bit too early. I think they could have been a bit more patient here. The main thing for TSM is when they are hitting an Asher, they're not losing much HP at all. Not much HP at all. TSM can just continue, alright? Crazy stuff. You know, the main thing is when Shen ults in like that and he doesn't get a good fight going for himself, then it's not the best situation. You know, when you're playing Shen, you always want to be the one committing, not the one disengaging, because it's hard for Shen to get back in after that. But of course, you know, this when they are doing the Nash, one is going to be forced to tank, and then you have these people with no flash that are easy targets for Power of Evil. So if we pause right here and look at the situation, Maxlor, his job right now is just to try to steal. If that case happens, he's too low to impact the fight. He doesn't have Gragas ultimate. It's very hard for him to be useful. So this is the disadvantage for Misfits. TSM are tanking Nasher, so 1 to 2 people are out of position to kind of peel the LeBlanc, which is going to be a big issue. So these are the things that we need to take a look at. Shen can always be useful if he just goes in and peels these tanks, because they are going to walk out of this area and Shen can always cut them off and try to taunt them if these targets are too far away. He can also save his taunt and maybe potentially taunt whatever LeBlanc chains, because right now from LeBlanc's angle and position, it's pretty certain that she can latch onto a good target here that has no flash. Hansama it will be hard for him to get in and auto too much, because Bjergsen and Doublelift will be able to hit whatever that comes into the space. It's all about what Power of Evil does and how much attention he pulls to himself and how much Alfari pulls attention to himself as well. Important cooldowns that are down is that there's no Zaya ultimate, there's no Janna ultimate, there's no ultimate at all from Maxlor, from Misfits. So this is important to highlight. There's also no Syndra ultimate, no Sejuani ult, no Renekton ult, no Nami ult. Okay, all ults are pretty much blown. I think that's what we are trying to assess here. So that is important to remember, right? There's no ultimates blown. And it's the situation that Kog'Maw loves the most, I think, because he's the only one without an ultimate that has a cooldown. And TSM just decides to back off. think a very important thing here is LeBlanc's itemization. She's pretty much itemizing for Shen right now. She's itemizing so Shen gets the good ultimate and gets the good situation. TSM are pretty much faking a base here. They faked the base and are starting Nashor. This is quite ingenious of them. This is something that I haven't seen before, where TSM, there's a team faking a base. I think I've seen TSM do it in the regular season. Maybe it was against C9 even, where they fake bases. But this is crazy. They fake a base. Janna has recalled. Zaya's out of position. Baron is going down quickly. It's half health, 5k. Alphari could get a good taunt here though. 3k can get dangerous. They know Gragas had to base because of his low HP. Ooh. Ooh hoo hoo. Alright. Alright. Misfits get the Elder Dragon off of this. You know, that's the main thing here. Maybe Misfits can even get more, maybe they can get an inhib, but I think it might be greedy because the enemy team has Baron minions, and also the Syndra is alive with all the wave clear. Potentially Misfits with their flashes now, they have a flash on Gragas, flash on Shen, maybe, just maybe, they can just dive, if that's the case. Elder Dragon is also a big deal, you know, Misfits have 3 Drakes, so this situation is definitely beneficial for Misfits in the long run. You know, the main thing here is that the trade-off doesn't become bad. Like TSM won't be able to think like, yeah, we got Baron, we lost 2 people, it's worth it. It just becomes such a more efficient trade for Misfits because they will have a better position here at the Elder Dragon. They're not committing on it, which is surprising. I think they should have just went for it. Doublelift out of position. He has flash though. Ooh, Doublelift. Double just dies. Doesn't get to flash. Can Misfits end? Can Misfits end here? Can Misfits end? They have super creeps. Like Syndra can pull up the super creep and maybe delay. Like Syndra can delay this a lot, but she has no flash either. And if Paravel just commits on her and chains onto her and does good things, you know, then it's going to be a tough situation too. But Alphari has flash taunt. If he flash taunts and just walks towards Bjergsen here and makes sure that he can't wave clear, then it's all good. That's a flash taunt. Bjergsen should die here. Misses win. What the fuck? They should be able to end. Doublelift is gonna spawn. Is Doublelift gonna do something heroic? There's a lot of low targets here on Misfits. Holy moly, they're not gonna be able to end. Holy moly. Is this going to backfire for Misfits? They have 2 people dead. TSM can just, they have more people. If Hansa just heals up here and goes towards Nash, the Elder Drake, then this is a tough situation. Like Misfits, they need to heal up. They have a big bot wave. Is TSM just gonna get Elder Dragon here? Maxwell has to go for a steal. He's level 15 over 14. There's nothing else to do. I thought that you could just go for the end, but they took so much damage for something. I have no idea what they took damage from. I have to take a look. It just seemed so clean and cut here. After their kind of play here, where they are baiting the Nash, but the Elder Dragon. But the main thing is TSM. They have a fucking ward, man. Look, they have a ward on Elder Dragon. They have a ward, man. They have a fucking ward. What the hell? They don't have to take any risks. They just have to play towards this side of the map and be together and take no risks. They don't even have to walk out here yet. The enemy team is like, they could even take this path, you know, and just stand here and be fine, just to be closer to the Elder Dragon, and then Hansa TP's in, right? But they're not even starting it. They don't need to take any risks. And Doublelift just gets snapped in half right here. Doublelift had to flash earlier to survive this. He just needed to straight up flash. He could have flashed here and survived. And even if he flashed, maybe he would have died after that. But because this is a 4v5 situation with a late Hansa TP. But, you know, he could have flashed definitely. And the problem here is TSM have a ward on Elder Dragon. You know, I was thinking that Misfits play to cheese here would be bad. Look at Alphari smile. Look at his smiling. You know, he's happy that this is happening. You know, for sure he should be. He's beating TSM. You know, last year I was so close with Splice, but we didn't seal the deal. Nevertheless, my point is, you know, I thought the Misfits were making a mistake by not just starting Elder Dragon, because it should have been a very free pickup. Right now, you know, in the situation TSM were in, they couldn't contest Elder Dragon. But because they had a ward on it, I'm assuming it's a blue trinket, because who else places ward? It's a blue trinket, right? With this blue trinket in place, you know, they knew the enemy team wasn't doing Elder Dragon. So what else would they be doing? They need to be scared shitless from this area, you know? They need to be so scared from this space, you know? So they need to keep their ass away from that stuff, you know? And they have a ward on Elder Dragon, and that's all that matters, you know? They have a ward on Elder Dragon. They could stall it to the point where Hanzo could TP in, and it would have been all good. That's why I thought Misfits not doing Elder Dragon straight was a mistake, because they had a timing to get a free Elder Dragon, because they had long enough death timers on TSM, and they could have just went straight to Elder Dragon, picked it up for free, and in this case, you know, TSM blue trinketed, saw that it wasn't going down. They could have waited for Hanzo to TP in, and after that fact, they could have tried to contest it. But from this angle and from this position, you know, when they tried to, like, the main thing here is, right now, no stress, no stress. Elder Dragon is not being taken, no stress at all. Just have to wait it out, wait out the fact that Hanzo is not here. Wait out. Keep in mind that they can come from this angle, and it's all good. They catch double lift, and boom pow, you know, he just gets chopped in half. That's why I'm thinking it was a mistake from Misfits to not start Elder Dragon right away. If they just went to Elder Dragon right away, they would have been in a 3v5 situation after taking the inhib, and they would have just gotten Elder Drake for free. Eventually, with these kills, they managed to pick up Elder Dragon anyway. Or they don't, actually, they don't. I keep forgetting. Misfits tried to go for the end, and this is the next thing that is so interesting. They are trying to end the game, and it doesn't work out for him. I want to see what they take so much damage from. Like, the super creeps are doing damage to Power of Evil, so he's low because of that. Hansama is taking damage from what's here. Hanzo is punching him away at him. He's doing some full combos here. Hanzo manages to survive with very low HP, which is quite clutch here. He does a lot of damage. It's Hanzo pretty much carrying the situation. He does so much damage to them, and it was an impossibility to ignore Hanzo in this situation. Double lift comes in and he saves the day, but Hanzo played this insanely well. Like, Hanzo and Bifrost just staying alive here. I want to see like damage done graph of Hanzo right here. Like, how much damage did he do in this case? Because look at the amount of damage he dishes out. Hansama was dropped low. LeBlanc got killed as well by him, and he also kills Alfari. So this was insanely well played by Hanzo. And TSM lived to fight another day. TSM are the ones that should be picking up the free Elder Dragon. The play for Maxwell will be that, you know, something that I want to assess. Like, could Misfits have played the situation better? Flash Taunt comes in. I don't know if Misfits could have angled themselves better. Like, maybe the Flash Taunt is just timed poorly, because Misfits are in fact hitting turrets and they don't need to stress. And then they could wait for TSM to actually commit a bit further, because as long as Misfits are hitting the towers, they're happy. So Bjergsen, if he commits a bit further to kind of pick up this super creep, then maybe they could just go for the Flash Taunts. But right now, they're the ones. Misfits is the team that is kind of committing quite deep here. And the Syndra ultimate just one-shots Bjergsen. Because right now, like, imagine a situation where Misfits is more ready to just attack the Syndra. Then she gets one-shotted and Power Wheel doesn't get Syndra ulted here. But the Syndra ultimate, you can see them balls flying in the face of Power Wheel. It's crazy how the Shen ultimate even got off, because look, Power Wheel is at 0 HP. So, looking at the situation again, maybe Misfits could have just ended if they just ignored Bjergsen for a little bit of time and then coordinated a bit better here when they committed for Bjergsen, because Bjergsen was playing very safe. They're hitting the tower. They could hit for this tower too. They could hit a bit. They could hit this tower for sure, and then allow Hans Sama and the rest of Misfits here to get a better angle for the next tower, because they just finished killing this tower, and these people are angling for this tower. They are positioned for this tower. If Misfits move around a bit now and move back and get a better position for this tower, then they can more easily one-shot the Syndra when she comes in for the commitment. And that could have been the difference here, because big issue here that she doesn't get one-shot with the Flash Taunt, doesn't get one-shotted. And Haunter gets to do all his shenanigans here after Bjergsen dies. Could they have played the Haunter situation better? I feel like Misfits were just forced to go so deep after Hans Sama here, after Bjergsen, I mean. Crazy game. I have no idea how this is going to go. Like, this is anyone's game at this point. TSM are walking towards Elder Dragon. I'm so excited for this point here, because we've been reviewing all these things that have been going on, and now now this is happening. This would be so bitter if Misfits lose now, man. Holy moly. Maxlow, is he gonna go for that steal, man? Is he gonna do it? He got this shield going on for himself. Holy Maxlow. Holy daddy, man. No, this is a bit too enthusiastic here. A lot of big waves, so TSM have to back off, you know. They can't necessarily just run it down because Maxlor is dead. Mid tower is still alive for Misfits somehow. Holy moly. I want to hear what the casters say. Okay. Great stuff, Jet. Back to me. No. No. Well, right now, you know, there's not a lot of objective spawning for a long time. The Baron, did he just pick his nose and put it in his mouth? Oh no. Oh no, he's just biting his nails. He's just biting his nails. That's fine. That's fine. Still not the cleanest habit, but I've been there, you know. Sometimes I bite my nails when I'm stressed. But understandable. So yeah, this situation, absolute beauty, you know. I think Misfits made the wrong play by not picking up Elder Dragon, and I feel like TSM could have capitalized harder on Misfits' mistake. Misfits' play, of course, paid off. Then they tried to go for the end, and that didn't pay off. They could have been, with an Elder Dragon, a big fat ass Elder Dragon that gives them, you know, they have 3 drakes, so it's a powerful Elder Dragon. It's not something that you just laugh at, you know. It's a buffed, it's a big ass Elder Dragon. And here it's all about, you know, after what happened, you know, they were angled for this turret. Maxwell was not in position. They needed to just be able to chain the CC on Bjergsen in order to one-shot him without dying on anyone. Then the situation would have been better for sure. Hanzo does a great job here of putting a lot of enemies down after Bjergsen took a lot of damage, and I don't think Misfits, you know, all things considered, based on what Hanzo did, even if LeBlanc was alive, I'm not too sure if Misfits would have been able to end. I don't think they would have been able to end, but I still think they could have killed Syndra better. And maybe, you know, if they angled... The problem was that they had to commit so hard for the Syndra. You know, in a case where they didn't have Hansama in auto attack range, right, of the Renekton, then all of a sudden it changes the scenario completely. It changes the scenario completely, and maybe, just maybe, could have been the difference. That's what's so crazy about this, you know. Maybe it could have been the difference where they waited a bit further for Syndra to get in there, and then just walk up to the turret and hit it and focus the turret and force Renekton and Syndra to use abilities on Gragas and Shen, and then after that try to one-shot the Syndra, and then maybe then, you know, make sure to put yourself in a situation where the enemy team have to walk into you and then you punish. It happened kind of the other way around, because looking back at it, you know, we can just go back. Like, Misfits could have hit their tower, this tower, if they wanted to. They could have hit this tower if they wanted to. Hansama, there's no way he gets one shot by Syndra because the ultimate power of evil is very, very low. So they could have hit this tower if they wanted to. They could have hit this tower if they wanted to. And then maybe the problem is that power of evil commits. Maybe Hansama could just finish up Syndra by himself. But I feel the biggest issue for me is that Hansama is in range to hit the tower. Power of evil is too, if he just walks up here. And then Ignar is in position, and then Maxor can take a better position because he positioned for this tower and TSM position on this side. If Maxor gets time, if Maxor has time to just walk here instead of being where he is, like if Maxor is just hitting the tower, no one's gonna kill him. You know, no one has enough damage to kill him. The same thing for Shen, right? No one has enough damage to kill him. Maybe if Bjergsen hits him for a long enough time. But Kog'Maw is dead, right? So right now, you know, Misfits could just focus the tower. They could just focus the tower when Bjergsen walks up further. Then hit him with the good shit, you know? Hit him with the taunt. Hit him with the good shit, you know? And then we have Shen in here and Shen Gragas here standing as a front line. You know, the more and more I think about it, I think Misfits could just end it straight up here. That makes me so much more excited for what's to come. We have the situation with TSM straight up, you know, straight up have no, like I've been back and forth, and my conclusion is now that Misfits could have ended the game. I really sincerely think they could have ended the game. TSM have Elder Dragon. There's also a pause. Crazy stuff. Alfari no longer with a smile on his face. Let's see what comes next. Alright. This is when them Infernal Drakes are definitely kicking in and doing a lot of work. Infernal Drakes are huge right now on both teams. Misfits have the better angle for the mid-wave. TSM are coming from a strange angle. All creeps are down, so Misfits are not able to just rush it down, but TSM are walking down bottom now. They have priority in bottom, there's no wave in mid. They played this beautifully here. They can play it together with Haunter, but I don't think they can get more than that. There's just 4 creeps, and Misfits did in fact base. And TSM would just walk back into mid lane and punish the fact that Misfits had to rotate into bottom. I think this mid lane first tower should fall as well from just one auto attack or something. Ignar shielded it, so it's gonna stay for a little bit longer, but yeah, it should fall pretty fast. Not that it matters too much. It's all about this last team fight, you know. It's all summoners up. I feel like TSM is slightly favored. Slightly favored because it's so important. Like, the longer the fight goes on, the stronger TSM. I feel like TSM are gonna just do more with their AD. The main thing here is that I think the front lines of Misfits die faster but Misfits have the potential to kill the backline of TSM with the LeBlanc. So that is very important to highlight. Maybe if they can get a good engage and then catch the right target, then that happens. There's also that, you know, even though we talk about Kog'Maw's late game, you know, Hansama on Xayah, he has the crit build. He has the crit items. He's going to crit very hard now. He has full items. He kills tanks very, very fast too. And with the right place ultimate, he can also carry the game. So there's a lot of tools here for Misfits to kind of make clutch plays. And TSM, I feel like if they survive the LeBlanc all-in and they can keep themselves in check, then I think it's fine. The main issue as well for TSM is at this point in time it's very hard for them to create clean engages. So Power of Evil can try over and over and over to tag in, tag out, tag in, tag out, and finally when they get a good one, they can just commit to the fight. So Power of Evil, just because he doesn't get it on the first try, doesn't get the kind of clutch E or clutch DPS on someone the first time, maybe he's just gonna back off and try again. So the lack of mobility on TSM is also an issue for them. Big wave coming up top lane for TSM. They'll have to deal with this eventually. I think it's gonna do a lot of damage to the inhibitor turret. Shen is in bottom too, he has the ultimate ready. That's a different thing now. Sure, Hanzo could be bottom matching now, but he won't be able to dent Shen at all. And TP is so much slower than Shen ultimate, so this is an advantage he has. And the big issue now for TSM is that they will struggle to engage. They just have the Sejuani ultimate, and there's no Nashor to just force. And I think that is where TSM will have to find their success. They'll just have to force Nashor, because they have ticking time bombs all across the board. Power Wheel will try to tag in, tag out, and try to poke enemies right now. Power Wheel latches onto a pig. He wants some bacon. Ooh, flash from Hanser. Shen is here without TPing in, and he just taunted and W'd onto Hansama. Holy moly, no flash from Doublelift to finish Hansama off. Whoa, whoa, big stun from Bjergsen. Misfits just have to disengage and heal up as soon as possible. I don't know if Doublelift could have just flashed to end Hansama's life here, because he probably couldn't. It would have been a risk. Like, he has barrier though. Like, maybe TSM as a whole should have just committed to killing Hansama here, because there's no taunt on Shen, there's no Gragas abilities either. Huge stun. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just feeling right here the situation where if Hansama gets killed here, that the game should just be over. I don't know if someone could just burn summoners to just kill him off here. The first initial play when Janna heals him, it might be a bit more risky. But right now there's no spells on Shen. The way Shen taunts is a catastrophe, right? Because he's just Eing towards Hansama to give him a W shield. He's just Eing towards him to W him. Which sure is fine. It's fine. But Xayah ults. Xayah straight up ults and tries to get away from the situation. Right here, could W just flash to finish her off? This is 2 autos, Hansama no flash, Ignore has heal, there is grievous wounds on top of our boy here. Sure, Power Wheels in the mix too. Could TSM just flash aggressively here to end the game? Because this stun is massive. This stun is insane. There's no taunt on Alfari. I think it's coming up about now. Still heal on Ignar. Maybe it's too risky. Maybe it's too risky. Maybe this flash play that I'm suggesting is just too risky. Like Doublelift would have to auto maybe 2-3 times, maybe even more. Janna Shield would come up, heal. It's just too risky. I don't like the play that I'm suggesting myself. Once again, I'm just throwing things out there just to consider every option. But I want to still take a look back at what just happened. So Power of Evil baits Hans's rotation and baits his spells, also his flash. He gets stunned, but Power of Evil gets away. They disengage. How does Hansama get stunned here? Wait, how does he get stunned? Huh? What's stunning Hansama? Am I crazy or? There's a ball right on the ground here. There's a ball. Oh, is it the Syndra stun? Oh, it's a Syndra stun. She E's before she gets knocked away. I think, at least. Yeah, she E's before she gets knocked away, which stuns Hansama and the Gragas. Maxlor plays it beautifully here because it was so close that Svenskeren chains the stun into the ultimate here. But Maxwell has Merc, so he can move earlier, and he stands in front of Hansama here, so he blocks the Sejuani ultimate. He has Merc, so he gets out of the Syndra stun earlier, and that happens. Then we had this situation, a disengage attempt. Very nice Aegis here, just in time for Zaya's ultimate. Very well timed here, beautifully done. Whoever has Aegis, I don't even know anymore. Or it's not even called Aegis, I'm talking about Iron Solari. Very well timed, removes all the damage. All TSM members are very healthy. Very good usage of their items here. And it was quite clutch that Power Wheel got away from the stun there from Renekton. TSM now, with the advantage that Misfits are very unhealthy. Big waves coming in from the sides of Misfits. Maybe they can create some TP play or something. Alphari should base and then just come back with his ultimate, it seems. He's ulting on top of LeBlanc. I don't know if this is the right use for it. Misfits are in a massive advantage here because look at the waves on bottom and top. They are so big and TSM really can't deal with them. They just have to stay around or just give up Nash if they want to deal with them. Same situation as before, no flash on Hansa this time around though, no flash on Hansama either. That's a big deal. Doublelift has to be careful, very careful with his mana pool now because he needs to have mana for that W. Make sure not to ult too much. Misfits are playing this very well because they know that TSM are lacking engage. They're just a big death ball of statistics right now, and TSM will eventually just have to force Nasher. They will just have to straight up go for Nash, and Misfits will just have to fight them there. And that's the best fight that Misfits can take. Right now, this is the best situation they can be in. TSM have too little engage to latch on to Misfits. So it all comes down to this. TSM have to go for Nasher because they're on a ticking time bomb. There's too many creeps in their base. That's the Sejuani ult on the Shen, probably the worst target. Double because ooh. Double just gets straight up chained here. He just gets chained. 2 chains. Boom. Holy moly. That's game. That's game. Misfits 2-1. Take TSM to 2-1. What an insane group, man. This is the real group of death. Holy moly. Insane amount of good teams. And you know, Flash Wolves haven't been looking too hot, but Misfits. Holy moly. A lot of people counted them out after that game against World Elite, and rightfully so, because they got completely massacred. Then they came in on the day against Flash Fools. They did it big time, you know, beautiful draft. And now Misfits is the team that takes down TSM that looked like they would get first place in this group. And all of a sudden the group is so competitive. Holy moly. Insane. Insane, man. Let's take a look at this last team fight. Let's not celebrate just yet. Holy moly, this game was all about the fights, all about the intricate details of the fights. You know, both teams macro-wise played very well. I think they play to their win condition, and I think that Misfits just have more flexibility in their comp. They have more flexibility in their comp, and Shen was pushing sideways, even though Honsa has TP, he can't walk down there, because if there's a fight, 4 seconds, being there 4 seconds too late on some random ass TP ward is just not going to be good enough. And also, it's easy for them to find the angles. The one person they can engage on is like, sure, they can engage on maybe Gragas or Shen, but that's not going to work out for you. Like, Zaya's going to massacre your front line if you engage on a Shen. And then Power of Evil in this team fight, in this specific team fight, look at the damage he puts out here on Doublelift, which just seals the entire situation completely. And I think it's a mistake here from Doublelift to angle himself towards this side, because this is where so right now the space they are zoning right now, let's make some circles. So Shen has flash taunt, right? But he's getting smashed. He's getting hit right now by CC and shit. So you don't have to worry too much about this. The angle you need to be at as Doublelift here is here. But important to remember, even in the case where Doublelift's positions better here and doesn't get completely smacked, there's a big chance that Maxlor is going to get a good ultimate off here, because Nami is not the best support at defending ADs, and Maxlor has an insane angle here on the enemy team. Let's take a step back to make sure that nothing else happened before this. Let's remove all this crap on the screen. Gragas has a very good angle on the enemy team, and they try to engage on the Shen. Doesn't work out. They know they're on a ticking time bomb here. They know that they need to commit to something. And Doublelift, it's a very hard situation to position in, but he is positioning wrong, I would say, in this situation. Other question is, Doublelift could potentially use his summoners better. Right now, you know, he just get one shot. He has flash up, use barrier, you know. The main thing here, I want to go back and watch, check the moment where we could pause. This is where the engage comes in, right? Right there. Let's play it for a bit. Doublelift should be standing here right now. He should be standing here and working with this space. He has some space to work with here. These people will get zoned off by Renekton and Sejuani, and then Kog'Maw can play into this space. It's very important that TSM take over this area here. I'm gonna use a different color. They take over this area, you know, with their tanks, and then Biofrost and Bjergsen need to walk. Let's paint it in a different color. Let's make it blue. TSM have to be in this area right here with their carries, because as we can see here, I'm gonna paint it in some brown color. Right here, this is the zone that like, this is the angle that they are controlling with their carries. Right here, this is the space that Misfits is controlling. We can see the angle of LeBlanc. She can jump and then reach Doublelift. Hansama can also support. Very important here is that this is a bush where TSM don't have vision. Right here, there's no TSM vision. They're completely blind in this bush, which matters a lot too, right? No vision of the Zaya means she can dash in and out of the bush and auto Kog'Maw for free. So right here she can walk out and auto the Kog'Maw, and right here Power Wheel can reach the Kog'Maw. So this is a big issue. Misfits have an insane advantage here, because here the position of Maxlor is absolutely crazy. He's going to reach the backline and eventually reach a very good ultimate. But the main thing is that TSM have summoners. They have summoners, and the space they need to work with, you can kind of cut off here. This is the zone that Misfits are controlling because of the lack of vision. They need to walk up here, and then together with their tanks, they need to be here. And even then, you know, even if they play it better, just because of the position of Misfits, maybe they still lose the fight, you know. I'm not saying this is the play that makes them win the fight, but at least it's the play that makes them play the fight the best, I would say. They will play the fight the best if they try to play towards this angle and then back off. But this situation is a lose-lose situation for TSM regardless, you know. They have to start the Nashor. They have super creeps in base. No, not super creeps, but a lot of creeps. You could even call this super creeps, because there's so many of them. They're going to lose an inhib. They're going to lose the top tower. They're going to lose so much of their base eventually. and that is a big issue for them, right? So TSM have to force Nasher, and then they have to go with the best engage they get. And even in this case, even if TSM do what I'm suggesting, where they have no control over the space and they're trying to fight here, then, you know, even in that case, there's a big chance that you just lose the fight anyway. Because it's very hard for them to get vision in this bush. Very hard for them to ignore the Gragas here that's coming from a good angle. And these people just have too good of a position to punish whoever stands here. And if TSM's front line here, Honser and Svenskeren, walk up here like they have to in order for these three to survive and walk through here, they will take so much damage and they will probably just die here. They will just die here, you know? So even though TSM could play the situation better, it was a lose-lose situation. The game looked very, very grim. Misfits had a very mobile composition, and it was hard for TSM to, with their death ball, to latch onto them. Plain and simple. Very hard for them to engage. Eventually, Misfits had the waves in their favor, and TSM had no chance to deal with it. And this was a very fun game. I think this was probably the longest review I've done. And it was all about those team fights. I saw some Reddit comments. They want to see more team fight analysis, and hopefully this delivers somehow. This was absolutely crazy. And hopefully you can understand that, you know, when I suggest something, it's all about you. I'm giving you guys insight to my thought process. Usually I reach a conclusion, and the last thing I say is usually the thought that I leave with. So sometimes I say, oh, they should have done this. Then I think about it, I say something else, and then I kind of work myself through it. So I'm giving you guys insight to how my mind works in a situation like this. Thank you very much for watching. If you sneezed during this video, bless you and bless your face. I'll see you guys in the next video. Holy moly, what an actual game. It was absolutely bonkers, man. Where's my toolbar, man? There it is. Boom.